leave. They said, let's keep on doing this. I said, well, all right, another time. So we invented another class called Advanced Animation, which we will also teach. But when you get to be my age, you be able to say, well, look, what can you leave behind besides just a bunch of movies? Can you tell somebody how to make a movie, or how to draw, or how to find the gift that's in you? I think all that becomes really, really important, how to do it. So I'm writing another book right now called The Blue Note. Has anyone ever heard that term? Good. The Blue Note is the moment that it isn't just you working alone. I felt it all my whole life long, where a fancy word for it is inspiration. That means there's an inspirer who is giving you inspiration. But you have to somehow partnership with that, and you'll do better work than if you work alone. And I've tried many times. I pick up the pencil and I'm alone and I'm done and I know what I can do, all that. And so I pick up the pencil and nothing happens. So then I put the pencil back down and said, okay, I need the help. I need the help. So I partnership with whatever creative God is out there. I partnership with that, and that's when the magic happens. So I don't really take credit. When you come up to me and you say, you were my childhood listener, and I said, it wasn't just me. I worked on it, but there was other people working with me. So anyway, and I'm appreciative of that. The Blue Note is a new thing. If you don't know what it is, it's a fancy word for inspiration. Learn to access it, and you'll do 10 times better than you'd ever do alone.
So another way is like the light bulb over your head? Is that another way of calling it?
You can call it light bulb over your head if you want. Whatever it is, though, it isn't just you alone. I need to make that point. It isn't you alone. A little anecdote that may help you. When Handel wrote Handel's Messiah, you all know what that is, right? When he wrote the Messiah, he went into a room for 10 days, closed the door. They had to put food under the door. He wouldn't come out. He says, I can hear it in my head, and I've got to write it down before it all disappears. That's not him. So what's going on? And he wrote this, the Hallelujah chorus, for heaven's sake. That didn't come out of just him. He said it was playing in my head, and I had to write it before it disappeared. That's the Blue Note.
All right, well, there's a microphone over here. If you guys want to ask questions, you can start lining up. Don't be shy.
Hi, Don. I'm a long-time fan of your work. I got introduced to you with the Dragon's Lair Laserdisc game. And I wanted to ask, what was your process of getting to making that game? I mean, it's just sitting around saying, let's make a Laserdisc game. And so, were there other prospects? Like I said, like you settled on a guy, the dungeon, rescuing this girl. Were there other prospects of that game? Make it be the game?
What is the question?
Oh, sorry. What was the process of you creating the Dragon's Lair Laserdisc game? The animation.
We had just done Secret of NIMH. Secret of NIMH was a beautiful movie, and it went out there and did not make any money. That's the clearest indication that you will never make another movie. So, and meanwhile, we had all left Disney's, thrown confetti in the air. We're happy, we're going to rebel. We'll show you Disney how to do it, So, we went out there, but now there were 17 of us who had left their jobs, and the wives of a lot of them were very unhappy with me. Because they cut off the money. So we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what was going to happen, but money didn't come back on Secret of NIMH. So what happened is suddenly, out of the blue, maybe it's a Blue Note, along came a guy named Rick Dyer, and he was trying to make a game that was interactive, and he had seen Secret of NIMH and said, can you make my game look like that? And we said, of course we can. And so we partnershiped with him, and he had come up with this little knight who was extremely dumb and couldn't do anything right, but he was in love with an extremely beautiful princess who was as dumb as he was. And that was in the essence of the story. So I said, well, let me design the characters and we'll work it together. That became probably maybe the best thing we did. I don't know.
It was awesome. I spent my time in the arcade for hours trying to play that game.
Yeah, we made a lot of people go broke.
And I was like maybe 8 or 9, so money wasn't just readily available.
You know, it was the first game that actually stopped doing just pixels. Donkey Kong and Pac-Man are out there in a little pixelated game, but this is the first time you were looking at an animated cartoon and you could interact with it.
Right.
That, I think, set everybody off in the gaming industry. And
It
they all
was
said,
amazing.
oh, images,
Yeah.
let's do images. And so everything went crazy.
Yeah. There was another game called Cobra Command, Laserdisc game. That one I managed to finish, but it cost me a few $100. But thank you very, very much, Dan. Long time fan. Lovely work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aaron O'Leary. Aside from the autobiography children's book, are there any other upcoming projects in the works, cinematic or otherwise?
The only thing I've decided is to see if I can teach something else. I have a book coming out that really is about the origin of the name Winnie the Pooh. So there was a real bear named Pooh. Did you know that?
Yeah.
There was a real bear. So anyway, what's going on right there? What else is going on?
Your documentary about your life.
Oh yeah, there's a document. They did a documentary.
And it's done by the same guys who did I Am Big Bird.
Aw.
And Spinny Story. So it's the same director of that is directing the documentary about Don's life.
It's crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel. First, I want to say that thank you for An American Tale. That was my family's annual Hanukkah movie. My great-grandparents came from Russia to New York.
Oh.
And my question revolves around another voice actor that you used multiple times in your films. How was it working with Dom DeLuise?
I knew you were going to say that. Dom DeLuise was a delight. No matter what he said, he could read the telephone book and you would laugh. He was just an amazing man. He was always very jovial, very helpful, very kind, and he always got off script. And he did it on purpose. He would start ad-libbing, and usually the ad-libs was the humor, and we would strike lines out of the written script and use his version. You know, when you put him and Bert together, it was an absolute magic. Absolute magic. When we were doing All Dogs Go to Heaven, Bert arrived on stage with a new dog voice that he had invented. And so he started reading the script and I went, uh-oh. It wasn't good at all. And so the reason Dom is in the movie is because I called Dom when we got back home and I said, Dom, I've just worked with Bert and he has determined his dog voice is the perfect voice. And he said, put me in the movie. Dom DeLuise, put me in the movie and let me work with Dom. I'll fix that. So when we put him in the movie, is Itchy, and then they are sitting in the room for the recording, sitting side by side, and Dom said, just roll the tape, don't do anything, leave it to me. So they started talking together. Pretty soon, Bert started doing his dog voice, and Dom, I laugh at this, Dom stopped. He said, wait, Bert, what is that? He says, my dog voice. Isn't it great? My dog voice. He says, you're making a fool out of me. He says, that is the stupidest sound you've ever made. Just told him off right there. I was just grinning inside. Because the only way you could solve it. And Dom knew how to do it in such a way, and Bert looked so hurt. He said, you mean you don't like it? No. And neither will anyone else. Everyone in the public loves who you are. Use your voice. Yes, Dom, yes. So that's how that happened.
Thank you.
And Phil, you worked with Dom, right?
I did. I mean, I remember saying I got all the times from American Tail, and then we did obviously a sequel together, and then came back for Troll. We ended up doing a series and a kids album together. So Dom, I would say, out of all the American Tail characters, I probably spent the most time with, because I worked with him so many times in the years, and he was always an absolute angel. But he was, Don said it perfectly. It was funny. I remember there was this one recording session where we were doing the series that was on CBS, and we would all sit in a room and record together. But they had this box, like that, you would hear the director giving you all your cues and everything. But you could also hear when someone was coming in. So we were recording this place called Crossroads in Los Angeles, and Dom was a few minutes late. And he buzzed on the thing. He says, "Let me in, everybody! It's Dom." I said, "Okay." He's like, "I'm wearing a limo." And he came in and he would go in and just get everybody riled up and make everybody laugh. And that was just his personality. He would just do that and he'd make every recording fun.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is JD. I'm a huge animation nerd and I'm a huge fan of your work. American Tail in particular is my #1 favorite, like everyone else. But the one thing about animation I'm more curious about is direct-to-video sequels. And I was just curious what your thoughts were on the sequels made of your movies like American Tail and Secret Invasion 2 and the countless Land Before Time remakes. Just want to know what your thoughts on most of those movies and if you approve them or not. Or
You're
how.
talking about the crew, the artists that made the movies?
Yeah, or no, like what your thoughts were on the movies themselves, like the American Tail sequels.
Oh, the sequels?
Yeah, sequels. The
Oh.
ones that you weren't.
There's no such thing as a good sequel.
Oh.
That's a lie. Okay.
Toy Story 2.
But I think what happened, like American Tail, I think was a beautiful movie. It came from the heart, from Stephen's heart. It was out. Five, for example, was actually the name of Stephen's grandfather.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big deal. Up to that moment, many times we called him Mousy Mouskowitz. That was the name that's written, Mousy Mouskowitz. But he kind of renamed it, and it became very personal for him. Well, everything after that, including Five Goes West, I look at it and I say, okay, but it didn't have the same brilliance as Stephen's first story. Yeah, it just somehow, there was something really wonderful that was in it. Now, what happened with the second one is they had the most gorgeous voice in the world, Jimmy Stewart, everybody was in there. So you'll watch it because of their voice. But, I don't know. I have a hard time with sequels. On that before time, I worked the TV sequels that go on and on and on, and none of them, they look like cookie cutter things. You just, stamp them out. But the first one had a heart. And it was about little kids who lost their parents, trying to find their way back home. So that became, a really different, interesting microphone. Anyway, thank you.
Right.